All right, we're going to start with the news, but then I got some kind of juicy stats, statistics, and stuff that I think are going to make you feel better as a Panthers fan. And we're going to talk about it. You all know what's going on, right? Unless you've been under a rock, you know that Brian Burns is holding out and that it is now for a new contract. Okay. And they're talking about how the Panthers could trade him if talks stall. I want to just calm that down for a second. It doesn't look like they would trade him quickly. It looks like they would wait to see how their season is going. I think that's one of those things. In this, they're talking about how it's a weekly tradition that somebody is leaving. So here's the developing situation. Ari reported it. Have Panthers star pass rusher Brian Burns did not participate at team walkthroughs today, and head coach Frank Reich declined to provide details whether his absence is related to his contract. I have the rest of this tweet, so I'll read it to you. Reich said this about Burns. He said, "Do I hope that he's there versus Atlanta? Absolutely. But if he's not there, I'm not worried about it. Just move forward." This is kind of different from what he said the day before, where he's like, you know what? I'm not going to comment on that. That's a personal reason that he's out, blah, blah, blah. Like he was talking about those types of things. And he said he doesn't comment on it if it is contract related. So, yeah, Reich said he still doesn't know if Burns will play on Sunday without a new contract. So this is very, very interesting to me. But I want to talk about two things in this video. I want to talk one about what the roster looks like without Burns. I want to talk two about what you should be paying Burns. And I want to talk three about like kind of just what the possible trade things could be for him. So let's start with what the roster looks like outside of Burns. Okay. So let's look at that. So you have a couple people on your depth. This is one of those times you are so thankful that you have Justin Houston. And that I think is where it kind of turns. This is where everything kind of turns and what I would say changes. So and I want to look at this. So bear with me here. PFF. You know I'm a PFF guy. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's a good tool to take things into account that haven't necessarily been taken into account. I think that's kind of what I always say. Last year, Burns had a good season. He had 13 sacks. He had 19 assisted tackles, 30 solo tackles, but the grades tell a different story. And they tell a different story. And he's a guy who's always been a double-digit sack guy. All right, but his pass rush grade is a 71.3. His run defense is very bad. It's a 51. And his overall grade is a 64.5. This is by far, the lowest grade I've ever seen of someone demanding the kind of market value that he is demanding. And I'm going to actually show you his calculated market value in just a little bit. But just to give you, I guess the word I want to use is just to give you a little bit of understanding of how that compares. His overall grade last year of 64, and his highest PFF grade was a 76.8. Actually, last year might have been the first year he was a double-digit sack guy. I'm gonna retract my previous statement. His highest pass rush or his highest grade was a 76.7. Justin Houston, who you just got, who has been in the NFL since 2011, he's 34 and a half years old, has only had two seasons in his entire career that were below the best season that Brian Burns has ever had. So at his best, Brian Burns is grading out to be the worst version of Justin Houston. The other 3 years, even last year, he didn't grade out well. Part of it's because he's such a bad run defender. The other 3 years outside of his 76.8 were a 63.7, 60.8, and 64.5. However, what we know is that the Panthers want to hold on to him. when they were trading away everybody else, when they fired their head coach, when they let Christian McCaffrey go to the San Francisco 49ers, there were rumors that the Rams offered them multiple first-round picks. That's what it says in this article. I don't buy that. I don't buy that because they know what they're getting, but also number two, not just do they know what they're getting, what first-round picks do the Rams have to give? I don't understand, but that's what it says in this article. It also says that they think the Bears would give up multiple first-round picks in order to give him. I don't buy that either. Brian Burns is a good defensive end. He is a good defensive end. He is not an elite superstar. Not yet. I'm not saying he can't be because he does things that make you just be like, whoa. All right. But he's not there yet. So here's what I want to talk about. This is what a salary is figuring to look like based on Spotrac. All right. So I like this one. It's the market value. They give NFL rank, they give defensive end rank. And a lot of times in the NFL, what we know is it's not necessarily you get paid by how good you are, it's next man up. We just saw TJ Hawkinson, tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, sign the wealthiest contract for a tight end in NFL history. Is TJ Hawkinson the best tight end in the NFL? No. Is he a top 5 tight end? I don't think so. I don't even think he's a top 10 tight end. All right. But, and this is from a guy, who's seen him play for a few years because I love the Lions. Right. So you know that about us. So part of Burns' struggles, his current contract isn't a ton. The average salary is $3.3 million. That's fine. It's a normal rookie contract. They're comparing him to players like Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, Bradley Chubb, TJ Watt. Like that's who they're putting the salaries up against. He's not TJ Watt. He's not. And I would even say his lack of run defense makes it hard to put him on any of these other people. So what they're saying the market value for him is an average salary of $23.9 million, $24 million a year. And here's what I'm here to say to Carolina Panthers fans. You can keep him under contract. He's on the final years of his rookie contract. You could franchise tag him next year, and you can franchise tag him the year after that if you want. You don't need to give into this. And if he just flat out refuses to play and your team starts to go downhill, get a first-round pick from him. You'll be able to get a first-round pick. You might be able to get 2. You might be able to get a first and a second, first, second, third. There's different packages that you can take. I am one of those people who does not. Yes, you need stars. You need stars to win in the NFL. I understand that, but you don't need to pay star money just because he's the next guy up. This is how teams get in trouble. So if he's going to hold out, trade him. If he's going to go hold out, trade him to another team. I know that sounds like a bad take, and I hope I'm not losing fans here. I hope I'm not losing Panther fans because here's the way I have to say it. He is young enough that he could absolutely be part of your core moving forward. And do I think he's a very important player for this team? I do. All right. 13 sacks is 13 sacks. All right. Part of it's that nobody else was rushing the passer, but 13 sacks, 13 sacks. That's important. The question you have to ask yourself, is he the type of all-around player that should demand the same type of money that the best defensive ends are getting around the league? And I don't think that it's there. So if you can get value back from him, keep the cap low and all this kind of stuff, fine. I will go on the other side of it. If you could sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal right now, then his contract is getting up as you have to pay Bryce Young when his rookie contract's coming to a close. So I also can see that side of it as well, but I took an aggressive take. So hopefully you liked it. What do you think? Do you say trade him, see what you can get for it? Do you love him? Do you want him to stay? Is he worth $24 million a year? You let me know. And hey, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.